In this video I will show you a simple technique how to significantly improve your memory, unlock the vast potential that is hidden to us. And to prove that this technique works, I will try to memorize the order of the cards in the deck in front of the camera in just few minutes. Impossible? Well, stay with me and you will see that it isn't. But since watching a bald dude memorizing cards would be very boring, in this video I will also try to explain what memory actually is and what exactly is going on in our brains when we are trying to memorize something. That and many more you will find out in this video. Memory, or devices that contain memory, are all around us. It can be a simple paper where ink molecules store information about what you need to buy at groceries. It can also be more sophisticated memory in my camera. Even our cells, our DNA, have some sort of memory. The sequence of nucleotides, the letters in our DNA, is basically a carrier of information about what color my eyes are or why I lost my hair at 25. In all cases, it is the ability of a given substance, a medium, to maintain its state long enough to code a piece of information. DNA is relatively stable, and the chemical compounds representing the letters that code for my genes last more or less unchanged for generations. You resemble your parents. There is a form of memory. The ink molecules on the paper also hold their state, their place on the paper, very reliably. At this point I also wanted to explain how the SD card from my camera works, but in fact I have absolutely no idea. What can function as a stable state that persists like ink or our DNA in the case of our memory? Where in this brain is our memory stored? Henry Molaison was an American man who suffered from epileptic seizures. As a 27-year-old in 1953, he was offered an experimental treatment by a neurosurgeon who was a well-known lobotomist. I don't know if there is a worse combination than an experimental treatment and a doctor who does lobotomies, but Henry was really suffering because of his epilepsy and he agreed to the surgery. The lobotomist removed 2/3 of a region in Henry's brain called the hippocampus. It's a pair structure, and so we have one in each hemisphere. And some of you may already know that the hippocampus is the key structure of our memory, and without it we can't really memorize anything. The lobotomist was really trying to do his best, and he removed not just one hippocampus, but both of them from each hemisphere. Henry hasn't been able to memorize anything since his surgery. He was trapped to death in the present moment. But supposedly the epilepsy got better. But let's not make a mistake though. The hippocampus is no repository of our memories. Henry didn't really lose any memories he had, he just couldn't acquire any new memory. Our true long-term memory as a whole is spread throughout our cerebral cortex. So what's up with the hippocampus then? Try to memorize the following 3 symbols with me. To be able to see these symbols on the monitor, your neurons in the visual cortex have to fire in specific patterns that represent the symbol. The specific pattern of the activity is exactly what you see in front of you. If you close your eyes now and try to visualize one of these symbols, your neurons will in fact produce exactly the same activity as they did when you first saw the symbol. And that's exactly memory. The actual activity of your neurons is like ink on a paper. But you may have noticed one difference. While ink on the paper lasts quite a long time, the activity in the brain that represented the 3 symbols is already slowly fading away. This is because you have just used the so-called working memory, which has a very short lifetime and is said to be located in our frontal lobe. If you really wanted to memorize the symbols, you would have to spend more time trying to do so, or very fundamentally, they would have to represent some meaning to you or contain emotions. In that case, their representation will go all the way to the hippocampus, and if the information is worthy, during sleep the particular activity will move again from the hippocampus to your cortex, but this time as a part of your long-term memory. So hippocampus is a short-term memory center, but also functions as a bridge for our daily experience to reach our long-term memory in our cerebral cortex. So there is no center in our brains where all our memories are stored, nor a room full of drawers filled with our memories that we need to search through when we are trying to memorize something. Our memory is more like one giant network. Memories are not isolated, but one is related to another. They have associations made between them. That's why if you remember your grandmother, you might also remember her voice. Suddenly, the smell of the buns she used to bake will come up, and maybe even the sad memory of her funeral. And this finally relates to how to unlock the vast potential of our minds. If I were to tell you to memorize these letters, there is a big chance you wouldn't be able to memorize them. However, you will be able to memorize them if I arrange them differently, such as in the random sentence bold is sexy. Letters alone are not, in fact, information our brains like. What they do like is meaning. Words have meaning, emotions, humor. These are all things our brains love. Similarly, cards themselves don't really mean anything. They are just colors and numbers, and that's very, very boring. That's why I created a code of unique images for each and every card. For example, for number 2, I assigned the letter N, which I combine with the letter of the color of the card in Slovak language, so to most of you it won't make sense. But for example, 2 of clubs is an image of a knife, 5 of clubs is a weapon, or 2 of hearts is a nose. I followed a similar process for every single card. Learning the individual images was probably the hardest part. Every day for a whole week, maybe even 2, I would try to have half an hour to an hour and try to memorize each image. At the same time, I was trying to vividly imagine the images. I wanted to get the neurons, their patterns of activity that represent the images, to get faster and faster in how they are activated. However, I still haven't explained the point of why I was creating images for my cards in the first place. Our brains are machines that love stories. Many people are willing to sacrifice their lives just because they read some story about the prophet in the Bible or in the Quran. Stories have emotions and therefore have tremendous power. So with card images, I create a story in my head, but remember that the story has to have emotions. It has to be bizarre, shocking, disgusting, just like the stories in the Bible. Close your eyes and try it with the following story. A dove flies across the sky. Suddenly, a huge scorpion with a wig appears and chases the dove. A small fight takes place when the scorpion finally stabs the dove several times in the neck with its poisonous tail. The scorpion flies on when suddenly a cannonball hits it, destroying the scorpion completely. You're trying to figure out who fired the cannonball when you notice the cannon being operated, oddly enough, by a priest. As you look closer, you notice that the priest is, for some random reason, eating a small baby. When he finishes, a large tree falls from the sky and kills the priest. You get the point. You can probably repeat the story I just told you if you've pictured it in your mind. Okay, so I've got 25 cards here. It's not the full deck of cards, because I think 52 or how many are there. It would not be very entertaining for you to watch. So I went for 25. I think it's still pretty reasonable number, and kind of impressive. And it kind of proves the point, if I will be able to memorize them, that this technique works. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
So, hopefully I managed to do that. I'm not sure what's the time, but it should not be very long. I think it should be around 4 minutes. 9 of hearts. Queen of diamonds. 10 of hearts. 3 of hearts. 8 of hearts. 5 of hearts. 2 of hearts. I'm not sure why all the hearts are together. I swear to you, I did not arrange the order beforehand. 10 of spades. 6 of hearts. Queen of clubs. 7 of hearts. Queen of spades. 4 of spades. Hearts. I knew that. That was just stupid mistake. Queen of hearts. Is it? 8 of diamonds. Hopefully. King of clubs. What? King of clubs. Now it's the 8. I probably missed one for some reason. 8 of diamonds, whatever. 9 of diamonds. 5 of diamonds. 7 of diamonds. J of clubs. 10 of diamonds. I hope. Oh yeah. J of spades. J of diamonds. 6 of diamonds. Yeah, diamonds. And king of spades. Okay, I'm not sure how many times I didn't guess it correctly. I think it like 2 or maybe 3 times. Hopefully it wasn't more than 3 times. Doesn't matter. I kinda did it. Hopefully that's it. That's the whole point of this video. As you can see with the little training, it is possible. I will end the video with one interesting observation. When I was trying to memorize the order of the cards off camera, few times happened that the stories in my head were not the most recent story I've created in my mind, and I was repeating the stories from days ago. Some card sequences got so deep into my memory that I couldn't forget them. In a sense though, for this trick of remembering or memorizing something, I need to forget. And that's how it works almost everywhere. In order to learn new things, you need to forget the useless ones. It's natural. In order to breathe, you need to exhale. Otherwise, you will suffocate. Thank you for watching this video. This is actually the first video on this YouTube channel. It would be very helpful if you did enjoy this video and you find this kind of content creative or interesting or entertaining. It will be very helpful if you share this video on your social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever is your choice, and maybe send it to your friend who might actually enjoy this content. That would be sweet, and see you next time.